Moving on, 4 months after India's Operation Sindoor success, the Indian Air Force Chief Air Marshal AP Singh made a massive disclosure today about the extent of damages and losses that Indian forces inflicted on Pakistan. So some of the things that he mentioned today: 4 to 5 F-16 fighting Falcon, 5 high-tech fighters airborne, 1 airborne warning and control system, 1 C-130 class transport, radars at 4 different sites, 2 control centers and runways, and 3 hangars in 3 different stations. Now, some of these images, of course, had come out through independent agencies, and the damages were there for everybody to see. But it's important that the Air Force Chief himself has now reiterated them. Listen into what he said.
Large number of their airfields, and we've struck a large number of their installations. And what we have gathered from whatever int reports we have got is that on ground, because of this strikes, there have been radars at least 4 places, command and control centers at 2 places, runway, of course, damaged at 2 places. Then 3 of their hangars in 3 different stations have been damaged. And in that hangar, as well as on tarmac, we have signs of 1 C-130 class of aircraft, 1 AEW&C class of aircraft, and at least 4 to 5 fighter aircraft, most likely F-16, because that base happened to be F-16, which would have been under maintenance that time. Along with that, 1 SAM system, which has been destroyed. And so these are the strikes that, the destruction that has taken place on ground by our strikes.
After the Air Force Chief's remark came a remark from the Army Chief, rather a warning asking Pakistan to fall in line. Here's what he said today. India will not maintain restraint like we did during Operation Sindoor 1.0 next time. We will do something that will force Pakistan to think. Pakistan will have to decide if it wants to be in the geography here. And if Pakistan wants to exist, it must stop sponsoring terror. A warning like never before by a military general in India. So no mercy next time is the message. Also, that Pakistan was indeed decimated. Let's take this up with our guests joining us. Lieutenant General KGS Dhillon, former GOC 15 Corps of the Northern Command, Indian Army, and author of a book on Operation Sindoor, is joining us today. Lieutenant General, I want to understand from you, some of these losses have been discussed in independent media. The images were there for us to see. So why do you think the Air Force Chief has reiterated these losses inflicted on Pakistan now?
Good evening, Shivani, and good evening to your viewers. The losses which have been today elaborated by the Air Chief, some of them were also highlighted by the Director General Air Operation, the Director General Military Operation in their briefing while Operation Sindoor 1 was already going on. Air Chief Marshal AP Singh also highlighted these losses on 9th of August with images of satellite imagery and also the ground images. And this is important to highlight the enemy's losses. And as a mature democracy, as a mature military, we take our time to ascertain for 100% surety. We are not like Pakistani Prime Minister who on one day said 5 aircrafts, Indian aircraft down. Second day he made a statement, 6 aircraft down. Third day he goes to UN and says 7 aircrafts down. I think by the end of the year he'll reach about 20 or 30 figures. So, and now the question which your viewers must be having in their mind, why it is taking time? Why couldn't the same statement be made on 9th of May or 10th of May when it happened? See, intelligence gathering of enemies' damages is most important thing. There is something called post-strike damage assessment. That means your aircrafts have gone in or whatever weapon systems, you have struck, the damage has been caused. The next sortie flies over the target, takes the photographs, or the next satellite flies over target, takes the photographs, and those photographs are analyzed. And that is called post-strike damage assessment. Now, in case of Operation Sindoor this year, no aircrafts crossed the line of control or international boundary. No tank or weapon or any system crossed the international boundary. So the damage assessment took time. However, before the strike and after the strike images taken by satellite and also obtained from our assets inside Pakistan was shared during DGMO and DG Air Operations briefings by Air Chief himself on 9th of August, and today he gave out all the details. So it takes time for intelligence building. I have been a former Director General Defense Intelligence Agency. You get the first information. Now, information is a very important word. You get the first information, then you get the second information about it. There are voids. Then you send out these two informations to your assets. It may be on ground, it may be in the air, it may be electronic, it may be any format. And once the different assets send the information back to you, you fill up the voids, then it becomes intelligence.
Okay. But do you think this is also...
It's only information.
Do you think it's also in some ways because Pakistan, even America has been going on and on about their claims of downing Indian jets, and in some ways there's an assessment in the Indian system that we also need to keep reminding them of the damage we inflicted?
And if you remember Operation Vijay, every evening the Director General Military Operation, that time General Bikram Singh was a colonel and General J.J. Singh, both former chiefs, General J.J. Singh was a major. In the evening, every day they used to hold a press briefing and they used to give out the casualties. Whereas those were different days. Today's days are different days because you give out a casualty on day one, there will be a narrative which will be built around that. Your images, your videos will be circulated with the malified intentions. It has happened to some journalists, some anchors on TV who have made certain statements, and Pakistan TV is going gaga over those statements. So today is a different world. Our narrative battles are different today. So giving out anything about the enemy or own losses, you have to do it very, very carefully and at the right time. And like I said earlier, it takes time to verify the information, and once it gets converted into intelligence, only then a responsible person, as responsible as Air Chief, would come on camera and say, this is what we have achieved during Operation Sindoor. Anything being said before that is premature, and if it is proved wrong, the credibility of the chair which he is holding is again at risk. So we are very responsible military. Our commanders don't just go blah blah over the issues. We take a serious look at things. Once the information and intelligence is confirmed, only then we come up. And one thing more I want to say. DG Air Operations and DG Military Operations during the Operation Sindoor gave out certain facts. Air Chief gave out certain facts on 9th of August. Air Chief gave out certain facts today. None of them have been rejected by Pakistan. Not even one. And all our facts are matched by images. All our facts were matched by videos taken by Pakistani citizens inside Pakistan. All our facts are matched by Pakistani Prime Minister saying कि मेरे को रात को 2:30 बजे सिपह सलार आसिम मुनीर फोन करते हैं कि नूर खां एयर बेस के ऊपर पाकिस्तान ने, इंडिया ने मिसाइलों से हमला कर दिया. All that fact is proved by a retired air marshal coming on a TV channel and saying with authority, retired Pakistani air marshal, that Bolari airfield has been hit and one of our AWACS has been damaged or hit in that. So our facts or our information is based on solid footing.
Absolutely. No, none of these claims have ever been refuted either by Pakistan or US, which got very keenly involved in this operation, or by any third independent agency. But Lieutenant General, the other question on everybody's mind is, and I'll ask you this, is it also time that we also come out with clarity of damages on our sides? This whole jets issue, how many of them did we lose? Did we lose any at all? Hasn't been settled. If not now, then when? And if not ever, then why?
Ma'am, two things. Like you said very rightly, our claims have not been negated by Pakistan or US or any independent third party. Unfortunately, some people within our country are showing doubts about it. Now, that is unfortunate. I'm not going into politics of it. But that is unfortunate because the soldier lays down his life on the border for the sake of the nation. Now, to doubt someone who makes a claim with authority, with evidence, I think it's very, very unfortunate. Our citizens must refrain from such a thing in the national interest and national security interest. Now, coming to your question proper, why our losses and their losses are not being told in a very, very clear terms. Ma'am, today the battle of narratives, I'll come back to that again. The battle of narratives, and no military ever gives out their damages. Does anyone know how many aircrafts are lost during Second World War? Or how many aircrafts have been lost during Russia-Ukraine war? It is on the final day who is a winner. That is where the battles are decided. And on 10th of May, when we fired on 11 air bases not a single missile of ours was intercepted. We hit all our targets with precision. There is a video evidence. That is victory. On 10th of May, when the Pakistani Air Force could not take off from ground because we were hitting their aerial targets at more than 300-kilometer range without even crossing the international boundary. Now that is victory.
Okay.
On 10th of May, when Pakistan picks up a telephone and calls up a UAE or Saudi Arabia and USA begging for ceasefire, now that is victory. When USA tells them this is a bilateral between you two, and you pick up a phone and call up the DGMO, when Pakistani DGMO calls up Indian DGMO at 3:35 p.m. on 10th of May, begging for ceasefire, now that is victory. When India, having achieved its declared aim, then accepts the Pakistan's request for ceasefire, now that is victory from a winner's
No, fair
point of
enough.
view.
I don't think the result is ever under doubt. And for those who are having a doubt, they're free to, get their doubts cleared elsewhere. But sir, just stay with me because I want to quickly play out this excerpt of the Air Chief's press conference today where he talked about that kill 300 kilometers far. Let's just listen in.
Our long-range SAMs, the long-range SAMs that we had procured recently and operationalized, that again, turned the table on them. We could look deep inside their territory. We could make sure that they were not able to operate even within their territory, up to a certain distance. And it will go down in the history that longest kill that we achieved of more than 300 kilometers by that. And it seriously curtailed their activities.
Lieutenant General Dhillon, can you please, for the benefit of our viewers, just take us through the relevance of that 300-kilometer far kill that the Air Force Chief mentioned today?
Okay, ma'am. I have given all these details which we are discussing in my book, Operation Sindoor, the untold story of India's deep strikes inside Pakistan. Now, having said that, when Air Force Chief says we could hit beyond 300 kilometers without going into the territory, there's something called BVR, Beyond Visual Range. That means our radars or our systems pick up a projectile or some aerial object beyond visual range. As we know, the Earth curvature, the outside the Earth is rounded. So at 50 kilometers range, the line of sight will not be able to see beyond 50 kilometers because the Earth will dip the other side. So there is something called beyond visual range in which our radars will pick up an aerial platform of the enemy as deep as more than 300 kilometers. And when exactly at 314 to be precise, when this AWACS was picked up by our radars, our surface-to-air missile, which Air Chief is referring to as 400, fired from within our own territory, fired beyond visual range, hooked onto that projectile or aerial system which was airborne, and went and hit it and destroyed it at 314 kilometers from the place of launch. Now that is the meaning of more than 300 kilometers, and this is first time in the history, as Air Chief has said, that a aerial target has been destroyed by weapon fired from ground beyond visual range at more than 300 kilometers. And that is the reason most of Pakistan's air bases, which are facing India, that is on the eastern Pakistan side, which are facing India, are within 300 kilometers.
So, sir, this is military history globally, or is this the first time for India?
Globally, ma'am. Globally, military history, nowhere aerial platform has been hit at more than 300 kilometers. And another point which I was making is, after this hit, all the Pakistan air bases which are functional towards India are within 300 kilometers from international boundary or line of control. Once this hit was achieved, Pakistani pilots refused to get airborne for the fear of getting hit. So practically all the air bases within 300 kilometers was sitting ducks. And that is when on 10th of May, when we hit the air bases, and certain aircrafts were hit in the air, certain were hit on the ground at the air bases which were under maintenance, which Air Chief has very clearly elaborated. Certain F-16 were under maintenance at that particular air base, which is the F-16 air base, and those were hit on ground. So this is how that whole thing panned out. And another aspect of battle on the line of control. On 14th of August, the Independence Day of Pakistan, 138 Shaheed, the posthumous awards, gallantry awards were given by Pakistan to the people of their defense forces during Operation Sindoor, who fought during Operation Sindoor, and all of them, rather most of them, were from the line of control sector. So 138 assured kill of the soldiers and officers who were given gallantry award. That means the people who didn't get gallantry award in spite of getting killed, we can estimate the number of actual soldiers and officers who have died. And yet, this claim of mine, which I'm saying, it was aired by Sama TV of Pakistan erroneously. And when it got picked up and Pakistan Army got a flag, immediately it was taken off Sama TV.
Yes.
So 138 gallantry awards to Shaheeds of Operation Sindoor. So this is how
and yet
Pakistan
Asim Munir became a field marshal, despite the hammering that they got from India this time. Sir, I'm out of time, but I do thank you for joining us. Lieutenant General KGS Dhillon joining us to explain more of the successes that India managed in this Operation Sindoor. And something tells us that actually we haven't really come to terms with the success that India managed this time around. It will be a story, a military story for years to come. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you, ma'am, and Jai Hind.
Time for a very short break. We'll get you more news and updates in just a bit.